Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a deer with a forest reflections and some water. Going to probably be mid-level difficulty on it, but I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can. I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to chat during our live show today, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so before we do anything else, I wanted to say hi to my special guest, Cinnamon Cooney. She's the art sherpa, and she is in our chat today, kind of joining us. We're doing a special art festival called #LoveFallArt 2019. So it's a little mouthful, but you can search after this show and find all the other artists that are participating using that hashtag in your YouTube search. And Cinnamon's video is also iCarded in my video here up in the upper corner, iCards. All right. So yeah, it's been a while since we've done a collaboration with Cinnamon. It's fun. She's a good friend, fellow YouTuber, been from our early days, from when I had, I think, 25,000 and something subscribers. So it's been several years. Several years of friendship. It's awesome to have another YouTube artist friend. So, all right. This is our reference photo here. It's kind of cropped up a little bit. I decided to go ahead and do it on a larger 12 by 12 inch canvas for this one. The reference photo was in a square format, but you could really crop it to whatever size you wanted to. This is actually pretty nice this way too, if you wanted to do it on your canvas this way. All right, I'm using an archival watercolor canvas board from Fredrix. This is their 12 by 12 inch, like I said, and it is 100% cotton board. It's specially formulated with gesso for water-based paint, so it's a little bit more porous, sucks the moisture out of your paints just a little bit more. So if you're using one of these, you might add just a little bit more water to your acrylics at first. Once we get our first few layers on, it won't matter. All right, let me go over our brushes really quick. I've got a number 12 bright for some of the background, and then I'm going to use the number 6 Filbert for some of the smaller details, trees and things. And then I've got a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch angle brush, and a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch Willow's blender. Those are the little scruffy round tipped brushes, and a Princeton Select 5/8 inch Deerfoot Stippler. So you don't have to have all these brushes. You can just use what you've got that's similar, but these are the ones that I'll be using today to kind of create our trees, and I'll kind of show you some different options if you don't have those, what you could do. All right, and I've also got some round brushes in various sizes, 3/0, 2/0 script liner that we might use for some of the tree branches. I'm not sure if we'll need that one. Number 1 round and number 3 round. All right. And that'll be for our deer. You're also going to want a watercolor or water-soluble pencil of some sort to do your sketching with, or you can use a traceable. I'll have that available. They're $1 for all of my traceables, available on Patreon, patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. So if you don't want to draw it at all, you can do that. Super easy.
I was late.
Yeah, somebody was saying that somebody told them that it was cheating to use traceables, and I'm like, drawing and painting are two separate art forms. Like you can learn to draw. I would much prefer to learn to draw on a piece of paper, not on a canvas. So it's much trickier to try to draw straight onto a canvas. I'd much rather draw on paper and then transfer my finished drawing onto my canvas. So you're going to be tracing it either way. It doesn't really matter whether it's your own drawing or somebody else's. All right, let's use carbon black here. Burnt umber, burnt sienna. This is quinacridone burnt orange, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, and cad red light. This is unbleached titanium, titanium white, and zinc white. And this is a big old glob of glazing liquid because we're going to need that for our water. Or some sort of medium to kind of help with the flow. If you don't have these exact colors, just use whatever you want to. And really, I think that you could easily change up, if you're not into magenta trees, you could totally change this up. You could use oranges or reds, or I think even blue would really be pretty. So any other colors that you wanted to use, I think it would be easily adaptable. And if you want to simplify it even more, you could just make your deer in full silhouette instead of filling it in. But I'll show you that later. Getting ahead of myself. All right. Phew. I'm trying to go fast because I know this one's going to take just a little bit of time. I don't want to go much over 2 hours if we can help it. So I used my caliper. The center of this one, or the line here for the water was just a little bit high on my reference photo, so I wanted to lower it just a little bit. And to kind of figure out exactly where I wanted to put it, I just went ahead and used my Golden Means caliper. Those are in my Amazon store if you're interested, but I really only use it every now and then. I don't really pull it out all that often, but it's only when I'm really changing my reference photo. So you can see I decided to kind of put it right there on that. I think the ratio is 1 to, I can't remember, 1.67 or something like that. And I'm going to do a straight line right across like that. And we'll probably curve it out just a little bit on the edges, but that'll give us kind of our starting point. And then when I go ahead and do my deer, I'm going to use it again, and I'm going to kind of place my deer on it right in here on this again. So we'll be pulling that out again later. Our hill is going to come from about just below the halfway mark on this upper section. So just below that, I'm going to kind of start and just kind of do a general. And I'm not going to really trace too much right now. My deer is going to be right about here, maybe 2 inches high. So I want to be sure that I'm getting kind of the underside of the belly. So I want to go below that with my darker bushes, because I want some light shining in underneath him to kind of glow up under his belly. So I'm going to be sure I come down low there, kind of figure out where I want to place him, and then just make sure I bring my bushes down there, and then I'm going to bring them up and back down and then up again a little bit, but it's not going nearly as high as over here on this side. And then for our trees, we're really going to just kind of randomly place them. They're not going to really be anywhere in particular. I'm going to basically paint out all of this background. So the only parts that I'm really going to be focusing on right here on my first layer are this layer and this whole background here. And then we're going to start throwing in our trees later. So, and then if you want to, you can kind of generally sketch sort of in your water where you're going to want to put your bushes. This is a little bit farther back, so it's not going to be quite as long here. Push that back a little bit. Do that, just kind of generally cross there like that. And I'm just using the edge of my pencil, so I'm not doing a really hard line here. I just want a kind of very, very light, I don't even know if you can see that, very light sketch there, so I can kind of know where to put it. All right, let's go ahead and get started here.
So
how's everybody doing?
Good. And I looked up in the art rule book, and it is minus 10,000 points if you trace. So just keep that in mind when you're tallying up at the end, and so whoever's going to be the winner.
The art police might deduct a few points for that.
Right.
That's all right.
The only way you don't get minus points is if you paint with your eyes closed completely. And so, just so you know, you went out there and you said, it's okay to trace, but I just want to make sure everybody knows the penalty and the point.
All right. Check. Thank you, honey, for clearing that up. Appreciate it. Well, it is important to let people know that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Crazy man. All right. So I'm looking at my photo. My undertones are kind of almost greenish in my sky here. You can kind of see it better right in here. It's like this kind of a weird green-gray. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. And that's why I put out my yellow and my green. I'm not sure exactly how much of each I'm going to need. I'm probably going to probably use more of my yellow oxide than anything. And grab a little bit of that, a little bit of the green, and do that. And then to dull it, to make it kind of more brownish, I'm just going to use burnt umber here. And that should kind of make it more of a gray. I want to mix enough of this to use for both the sky and the thing. So once I kind of figure out how much kind of the ratio, then I'm going to mix up a little bit more of it. That looks pretty close to what I'm going for. I think when we add white to that, that's going to be about right. So kind of equal parts of this yellow, oxide, green, maybe a little more yellow than green, and then a little pretty good amount of brown. Okay, that looks about right. And then let's grab some more of our white, mix that in. I'm going to spray my canvas. That will moisten it, and it'll kind of help us be able to have a little bit extra working time when we're putting in our sky here. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I like that color. I might even add a little tiny bit of blue to it. I feel like it could use a little bit of a blue tone in there. And that blue mixed, the ultramarine blue mixed with the burnt umber makes a gray. So really what we're doing is just graying our green here that we mixed. All right. I'm just smushing most of that off of my brush. You can kind of see what I'm doing, just sort of twisting it and pushing it down on my palette. I'm going to try to scoop it up so I can keep that color really concentrated in one spot so it doesn't dry out on me. Okay, and then I want to sort of start with my white. So I'm going to grab a pretty good scoop of white here. My paint is still damp. I'm even going to grab a little bit of my glazing liquid with this. I'm going to start right in that center where I want it brightest. And I've got quite a lot of paint on my brush because I want it to last. I don't want it to dry out too quickly for me, because when I do my trees, I want them to still be kind of watery looking, a little bit wet and blendy. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of that green. I'm going to start going around here. And I'm keeping it very light at the horizon and right around our middle part here. You'll be glad you put a nice amount of color on here when you get to this part, because you want to have plenty of time to smush out those edges and blend them out a little bit. Don't go over your middle part, just kind of leave that open. This is just kind of like blendy. Okay, that's good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get a little bit of the darker now as we go over here. And I can grab a little bit more of that glazing liquid, and that will just, this is that golden glazing liquid. I think actually Cinnamon's the first one that turned me onto it. So thank you. Oops. Thank you to her. I'm going to move my mic up because I just hit it. But yeah, it's a great product. It's got a little bit of glazing. It's got a little bit of an extender in it. So golden products are awesome anyways. But this one's kind of nice because it's got that glazing or that extender. So it helps you, gives you a little bit extra blending time. So I'm just blending out those areas. And really, most of this is going to be covered up by our trees. So don't get too caught up in having it look exactly perfect. Just get it on here. Just try to get it on there. And if you do have a little bit of brush strokes like I'm seeing here, what I can do is kind of wipe my brush dry and just kind of go over those very lightly with kind of a clean brush, and those will brush right out. As long as both of these sections are dry, or are wet, I mean, they'll blend out for you. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm fairly happy with that. It may be a little bit on the green side. I might go over it with a little bit more of the brown. Here, let me get a little bit of brown and just add a little bit of this up in here while it's still wet. There we go. Get a little bit more white. Get down in here. Okay. Yeah, I think I like that brown mixed in there. Good. So yeah, I got to check out Cinnamon. Cinnamon painted a little old school house, super cute. She used a real kind of choppy tree, very impressionistic looking trees. I love her style. So you need to check that out if you want to after this. Super cute. And she's very friendly on beginners, a lot more than I am. I think ours tend to be a little bit more complicated. I try, but I don't always succeed in the easier ones. All right, so this is kind of damp. Oops, dropped my water bottle here. Did I make a lot of noise there? I'm going to move it over here where I can't drop it. I'm moving fast here. So I'm just going to let that dry. And so I'm going to work on this down here, but this dried before I could get to it. So I'm going to do basically the same exact thing we did. And I'm going to come down right, since this is our reflection area, I'm going to come down right below where I did the other colors and just do mirror of what we did. So our light part is going to be a little higher down here. And then our dark, and I can't get any clean white out of my brush, but it actually is a little bit darker down here in the water. So you can go a little bit darker with your colors. Everything is just a little bit more intense. And there we go. And I want to pay attention to this too, because I want to kind of mirror that shape somewhat. Now, a lot of this is going to be a little bit more blendy, so I'm just going to kind of go like this. Instead of doing a hard line like I did up here, I'm just going to blend out that edge up here where that water is going to be, and I'm going side to side with it so that it's going to have that kind of water feel. We don't have to do as much work. If we did a hard edge like this, we'd have a really hard time doing our next layer, because then we'd have to be fighting this and trying to make it look like water. It'd be a lot harder. So just be aware of that. This section is going to be a little bit different. And just getting that brown. And this area over here is almost black. It's really dark. So when we do our trees, we're definitely going to be adding a lot to it, and just going side to side with this. And I'm tilting my canvas so that I can get a better angle on it. It's really hard to do like this with it and get an easy flow. So I'm just kind of tilting it so that I'm keeping it at a good angle so I can go side to side really easily. So if you've got it on easel, you may be able to just hold it or prop it up on one corner or something like that.
So somebody said that they need to learn to work on these kind of blending techniques. Is one of the keys light strokes?
Yeah, I think with one of the things is I think people don't put down enough paint to start with. So you need to, if you're blending, you need to have just maybe a little bit more paint than you would normally put down. Just not gobs, but just a little bit more. And then a little bit more moisture. So use like a glazing liquid or something like that. Not too much, just enough to kind of help give you a little bit more moisture in your paint. And then, yeah, once you what I do is I'll put down the color where I want it brightest first, usually. So like our white here, and that's still wet, so I'm able to kind of mess with it. If it was starting to dry, I would not be doing this. So yeah, just trying to kind of add a little bit of shine to my water right there. And that looks pretty good. I'm looking at it. So then when I would put my next color on, I would not put it right on the margin where I want it to blend. I think that's what, people go straight in for blending right here. And what happens if you go in with your next color right here, you're going to blend all the way into your light area. So instead of blending right on that line, I start over here with my next color and I blend softly. And then when I get to this margin, I'm very, very lightly just kind of introducing that color along those edges, and the heaviest color is going to be right out here, not adding any more color to my paint. And then when I get here, that way it'll kind of catch a little bit of that color that's here and blend in. And if you need to, you can add more of the light color and blend it back the other way and just go back and forth between the two. But I never would introduce my color right on that blend area unless I mixed it, pre-mixed it, you can do that too. But all right. So I'm going to let this dry pretty well up here before I do anything with the trees, so I can go ahead and work on this. Is actually drying pretty quickly because I did that fast. So I'm going to try to catch this while it's still wet. So I'm going to get a little bit of my magenta and my purple.
You need to come up for a breath.
Why?
So I can ask a question.
Oh, okay, go.
We're just zipping along there.
All right.
Somebody asked, do you know if the Liquitex slow drying blending medium is comparable to the golden glazing medium?
I'm not familiar with that one, but I would guess it is, probably. Does it have any restrictions? Sometimes those extenders will have like, all right, hold on. I'm going to go right up here on here and go across, and I was actually going to switch to my Filbert brush, but this one's working, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick with it until I need to switch. And this is nice because that green is a little bit damp still. I actually think that this canvas is working out pretty well to do this because it's good with these kind of softer watercolor looking type things, applications, so I'm pretty happy with how it's working out. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
About the
Oh, that slow drying medium. Yeah, I would just check your bottle and see if it says that you need to use a certain percentage, of it, and because some of them will say like only 30% to product to, with your acrylics or something like that. So that would be my only concern with it. But yeah, it sounds like it would do the same exact thing. It'd probably work really well for it. Okay, I'm going a little bit too high with that. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Let me clean that out. And it's not nearly dark enough, but I knew that. I'm just putting it on light to start with. Didn't want to overwhelm it at first. So I'm going to go in here with this and just like I said, now go back over with that color that's right up next to it. There we go. Blending it out. That's not too bad. Kind of did okay, I think. I'm going to use that edge and just draw some lines in it while it's wet. Try to keep them horizontal. Okay, I probably don't need to mess with it. It's starting to dry. It's lifting right here. You can see where that did that. That's because it was starting to dry. So that's starting to dry. I need to leave it alone until it's finished doing its thing. Okay, so let's work on this up here. We can work on this area up here. This is still wet in the middle here. My white, I can still see it's shiny, but this area is fully dry right here. We can mess with it. All right, so I'm going to get some of this color, and I'm going to go right along that edge. I'm going to go ahead and keep using this brush. It seems to be working just fine for me. We'll add our highlight on top with our Deerfoot, but for now I'm just going to stick with this for basing in our main areas. Don't worry about your Deer at all. We'll be putting him in later. And we'll just go ahead and kind of put this color all the way to my line. There's going to be a bunch of bushes in between, so I'm not worried about what that looks like right now. In fact, I want to get some of the blue and purple and use that right down here. Ultramarine blue and purple. I'm just going to blend it in. There we go. It'll be actually good to have this darker color underneath because that color is probably a little too light for our highlights. It won't really do anything. Trying not to get it on my water there, but it's kind of going over the edge, so it's fine. Like I said, all of this is going to have bushes in here, so that all of this whole line is going to be obscured. So I'm not worried at all about what this looks like. Just try to get this paint on your canvas for these first layers. Always edit and fix it later as we work. Getting some white, so this upper area here is a little bit lighter. I'm just gonna kind of go a little bit lighter with that, and then grab that darker color, a little bit more of that magenta for over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this brush is too big. I'm just having a hard time kind of getting it in these little areas here, so that's good enough there. That will work. I might just have you take that and dry it really quick, honey.
What have I told you about not getting me ready for it?
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteeing anything here.
Okay.
Quality of the dry.
Thanks.
Yeah, whatever. Let's go do it.
Hurry.
I'm hurrying.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Okay. While he's doing that, I'm going to grab a piece of tracing paper. And we'll go ahead and draw out our deer for later. And let me see see if I can find my pencil here. We moved everything around in our studio. We moved to a new studio this summer. Just basically fancy word for I moved from my one bedroom to my son's old bedroom. But I'm still trying to figure out where I placed to put everything. Okay, so I'm going to keep it fairly, it's pretty close to the scale on our canvas. So I'm going to just kind of mark out our horizon line so I have an idea, and our bushes were kind of right in here, something like in there. So I want my deer belly. I'm just going to kind of start with this sort of general size. It's kind of boxy shaped. Let me zoom in. See if I can do that. Zoom in a little bit, and then we'll be able to use this later when we get to that part. I'll just be able to grab this and use my transfer paper for it. Okay, so I want to round out that. This is a little squared off right here. Kind of comes up and makes a point and comes back down. And then this area here is also kind of rounded off, kind of squares off right here. Comes out just a little bit and curves back in. And this is really kind of like just kind of a sausage shape almost. I think I've got him a little bit long. I'm going to shorten him down a little bit since he's a little baby. Thank you, Mom. Love. What?
I rushed.
Well, I know. I didn't know how long you were going to be, so. Okay, we'll come back to this. Because we may have to have him dry it again later, so that'll give us something to do. Yes. With the water, there's a good chance we will have to have it dry. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Good job, honey. Nice and dry.
Thank you.
All right, and let me see. I don't think I want to use very thin for my trees back here. I'm going to use my, let me see. They're both going to be about the same. So I think I'm going to use my bigger one. And we'll use that brown. I'm going to make a gray for my trees. So I'm going to use burnt umber. Come on. It's already starting to dry. I need to spray that. See, it's making clumps like that. That means it's starting to dry. That's not good. Don't do me like that. I can use I probably need to be using a palette knife. Purple, so a good amount of purple. Burnt umber and purple will be our main color for our trees, especially in the foreground. I don't know why I put the black out. I have it just in case. We may not even need it. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then for our trees in the back, I want to introduce this color. So that's a really easy way of making your background trees and things blend into your sky or whatever you have in the background. It makes it look far away. Is just introduce that color that you were using in your background. So I'm going to grab that green and some of my yellow oxide, and I have that burnt umber in there already, so I'm just going to add white to it. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber. There we go. And that yellow in this green will also interact with the purple in our tree color. It also neutralize that purple, make it look a lot more neutral colored. So I'm going to mix up a nice big amount of that. So there's our background color again. And I'm just going to smush off that. grab a little bit of that purple. I think that's pretty close. Go a little bit more with the green there. Okay, we'll try that. We'll see. It's going to look really dark against our... Here, yeah, see how dark that looks? So what we want to do is get a color that's almost the same color as our background that we have currently, because when it dries, it's going to... I don't want to wipe too much of that off. When it dries, it's going to darken. So if it's the same color as our background, when our background's dry, then it will be a little bit darker. There we go. That's pretty close to where I want it to be. Maybe even a little bit lighter. Okay. I'm just going to keep on adding more. Actually, let's use this Unbleached Titanium. That's got a little yellowish tone to it too. That'll be nice. Okay. So right up in here in the middle part where we're real close to the sun, I want to be super light. Okay, see how that is? Like you can almost barely not see it. That's how light I want it to be, right here behind our deer, right in the middle area where our sun is. And thank you. I am just running my branches right up into that sunlight area and stopping. So this area will be really... Actually, I can do some of them through it too, because what we'll do, now that I think about it, I don't think I want to, because I need it up here too. I don't think I want those to end. I want them to go all the way up. Because I want them to connect up there. So we'll put some more of the white over the top of this later. Just go ahead and all the way up. Get a little bit more, get some glazing liquid. The glazing liquid will also kind of help make it look a little bit see-through and disappear it. And then I want to do the same thing in my water down here. So it's actually going to be this coming from here. And I'm going to try to match up as much as I can. It's not going to matter as much with these ones as it does with the bigger trees. So we'll just put our things in, put them in the same direction. So if they're going out this way, then we want them to come out this way. So these ones that come out like this, we need to have some of them coming out like that at an angle. Does that make sense? And then these ones are going in, so we want these ones to start out and come in here. There we go. Okay, keep on going. A little light. And you can go on right down to the grasses over the top of it, actually. It's fine. Because we're going to add more to these. We're going to add bushes and things. I don't know why I'm whispering.
Have you met yourself?
Huh?
Have you met yourself?
I know. I like to whisper.
You get focused and you start whispering.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, come on. I mean, you're supposed to paint and teach and talk at the same time. It's not that difficult. I did it once.
So you know.
Yeah, I'm an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, go back, watch the video of my row houses. It's
you can. It's a bonus video.
It's epic.
Nobody can watch it unless they're a Patreon.
Oh.
Remember?
Only the privileged, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry, people.
But to be part of the special club.
Yeah. They definitely didn't get their money's worth that month.
I kind of agree. I didn't like the painting, my painting either. So we're about even.
But some crazy person out there liked it, and it's hanging in their house right now. So.
Yeah, it is.
Or it's in a yard sale.
It could have been. That's true. I don't know why we didn't keep that one. That was epic. Now we have no record of it. That's true. Okay, going on through here. We're going to just continue these trees all the way across. All in here. Just like I said, just a little bit darker than our background. And you can see how these are dry now. See how dark they dried. Get some of that purpley over here. They're getting a little bit darker, so I'm going to go ahead and get out some of my darker color. And I'm trying to keep these really small. These are all going to be very much in our background, not our focal point trees. So you'll see them, but they'll just be barely hinted at, kind of way back in the back here. Okay, I like that. So let's keep on going with these and use them in our water here. Yeah, this is a little bit right. And really in our water, I'm going to use a little bit more of the glazing liquid because I want it to be even more kind of blendy. And let my brush kind of skip a little bit so it's not getting a full line. It's a little bit more soft. So this one is pretty distinct, so I want to kind of try to catch that same look. Most of them are straight up and down, so we can kind of just get it close. But the ones that are real distinct, we want to match. Okay, well, that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Okay. All right, I'm going to get the Deerfoot Stippler. I'm going to use this color. With that, I'm going to stipple in some greenery, some light. So get that really light one around here. Lots of white in it. And I'm not going to go quite up to my quite over the white, little bit over the white. Just a little bit. Think about where, kind of how a tree shape would happen. We're gonna just fill this background area with some noise of these trees. And I'm just using different colors here too. We can use the greens and the, but I'm making sure that they all kind of are very light to start with. We don't need it go too dark too quickly. Our upper layers are going to be, our top layers are going to be very dark. So this is all of our kind of misty stuff that's happening way back in the back. Can't really tell what's happening. I definitely want to use it along this bottom. So there's some like bushes and things that are kind of happening back in here. Maybe obscuring some of this down here low. Okay, that's pretty good. It's not going to look like much yet, so don't worry. This is just our first layers. We'll get it there. So I call these the ugly stages because it's actually kind of not looking too ugly. This one is kind of one of the better ones for that. It's not doing too bad. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of this one. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of scrub a little bit of it side to side. I'm basically almost dry brushing here, but I'm going to use a little bit of the glazing liquid to kind of make it flow on a little bit more smoothly. So, and again, I want to look up here and see if there's anything, anywhere that I did any like really dark areas. I want to kind of mimic those. So like this area is a little bit darker along line there. So I want to do the same thing right in here. And then this corner is going to be nice and dark, so I'm going to go ahead and just paint in that whole thing over the top there, that darker color. It's still going to be even darker than that, but like I said, I don't want to go too dark too soon. I want to just build these up gradually. Getting some more of that white. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's put a little bit of it right behind our deer, just slightly. And I'm going to do the same thing on here. Just a little bit of this color, and I'm going to go ahead and write over the top of that pink there with it. And that will do two things. It'll kind of blend out that sky area, and it'll blend out my pink area a little bit right there. So then I'm going to grab my pink, my magenta, I should say. I'm going to grab a little bit of that tree trunk color there, and a little bit of my white, and I'm just going to go right in there, really light. Okay. All right, that's good. And then I don't really need to, this is pretty much already into my water, but.
You got a question about isolation coats.
Yes, go for it.
What is it?
I'll try to answer.
What do you use it for?
Okay, so varnish technically is supposed to be a removable layer. When you varnish your painting, archivists, if they, over the years, that top layer that protects your paint, that varnish will dull. It sometimes will yellow, or, most, if you're using a good quality varnish, it shouldn't yellow, but it will, it can pick up smoke or, environmental stuff, and that discolors your paintings. So they'll remove that varnish layer and then revarnish on it. And if you've got an isolation coat, it protects your paint from that removal process. So when they remove the varnish 100 years from now, when your painting needs it, it will be protected. So probably doesn't apply to us. It will apply to your great-great-grandchild who might want to, see your painting in its finished glory. But it's a good idea to do it nonetheless. So what it does is it's just an acrylic polymer, and it just lays down. You can use like matte, or you can use like an acrylic medium of some sort. Golden now has a product called Isolation Coat, and it is made out of. It doesn't say anymore. Usually it would say what it was, so they're keeping it secret. But basically, it's acrylic medium. Yeah, they don't have it in here anymore. Tricky. Their new labels don't. That's really interesting. Huh. Because see, like here, it'll say produced with 100% acrylic polymer dispersion. This just says 100% acrylic medium. So that's the new one. The old bottles. So the new bottles aren't giving you as much information. I'm trying to keep it a little more secret. Interesting. Okay. So sorry, that was off track there, but hopefully answered the question. So it doesn't have to be their isolation coat medium. They want to sell it to you, but you can use a gel medium or something like that with some water, just something that's going to go over the top of your paint. That's an acrylic product that gives it a little layer of protection. Okay. So let mixing up a little bit of that bright fuchsia there. I think I want to go a little bit darker here first, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I want to go a little bit darker on this, so I'm going to wait on that just a little bit. I'm kind of getting off track here. How's Cinnamon doing? She's still in chat? Did she go have a sandwich?
I think she's kind of spicy.
Alrighty, let me think what I want to do next. So I do have one more layer of trees I'm seeing that are kind of right behind this brighter area, and then we'll have some that are on top of it. So I don't want to do this too soon, the highlights on this. I want to get all these back trees done first. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on going with this and do some more trees. And this time I'm going to use more of this color that we mixed up. I'm going to add a little bit more of the brown. I feel like it's a little bit purple. A little too purple. And use a little bit of that green in it. So we're still muted. It's still not these dark. We're going to save in this really, really dark for our foreground trees. So we're just going like bumping it up about not quite halfway to the darkest. So we're still going to want to add quite a bit of the lighter color here to this.
Got another question real quick?
Yes.
Somebody's asked, how do you determine about how much paint you should mix initially so you don't run out?
That's, I don't know. I still don't always get it quite right.
It's a guesstimate.
It really is. It's just a guess. Yeah. If I know I'm going to be using it in several places and I want it later, I'll mix a little bit more. But really, acrylics dry so fast, you really can't, you really can't rely on that. So I just try to remember what my mixture is and just, try to keep it wet if I know I'm wanting to use it, and I don't want to mix up more of it. Try to keep what I have wet. I feel like that's yeah, I think it'll be all right. And I think it looks like there's some of that, like fog happening over the top of some of these trees. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it. And even though I think it's a little bit dark, and I'm pressing down a little bit harder with these two and going a little bit thicker with my trees. So they're a little bit wider. And when you're doing trees, you just want to make sure that you're doing your tree trunk thicker, right? This part should be thicker than the upper branches. So just as I go up, trying to adjust my pressure so that I'm lightening up my pressure on my brush. And then if I have a weird area where it's narrowed right here, I'm just going to widen that out at the base so I have a foot for my tree to rest on. Okay, I don't want to get too much farther before I start doing these because it'll be hard to remember where they're at. So I'm going to go straight.
So you grabbed an angle brush there?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm using my angle brush because it's just easier to... Alright, so I'm going to... But see, the top and bottom of these are all blended out, so I don't want to do too much on here. I'm going to see if this works. I don't think it's going to. It's too wet. Get a little bit of glazing liquid with this. And I'm just going to kind of loop that off a little bit. No, I don't like that. It's picking up too much of it.
With your
I think I
Filbert?
just need to use, here we go. I'm just going to soften that up. Just a little bit too dark. So I'm going to use a separate brush that's got a little bit of glazing liquid mixed with the paint for this bottom area. So,
and again, that's your Filbert brush.
This is my Filbert. You can use whatever brush you want.
Can I use that one right there?
No, not while I'm using it.
So I guess I can't use any brush I want.
True. Okay, see how I'm doing? So this is lighter, more blendy than up in here. That's kind of a mess up, but I think we'll be covering a lot of that, so not worried about it. Okay, so let's keep on going here. I don't want to spend too much time on this background area because it's not going to be our focal point. I want to leave plenty of time for our upper trees. And really these ones are kind of bending inward towards the light a little bit. So we can kind of bend some of these in. And really these are all going to be covered up. This is all going to be darker trees here. I get a little bit of my glazing liquid, and there's a tree right in here that's kind of right out in the open, right there. Okay. So just doing a few in this kind of medium value here. The chair's creaking today. Yeah, that's working. Pretty good. Okay, let's use this now. Get my Filbert here, or whatever other brush you're going to use. Come down here and do our kind of reflection trees that are sort of mimicking that. Lighter, a little bit less distinct. Okay. And these are actually, now that I'm looking at them, well, no, never mind. Those are the ones that are farther back. Never mind. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, so let's use this brush. I'm going to go ahead and use my Filbert since I've got it out. Get that glazing liquid and do another layer of this dark in this corner here. I'm going to get some of that dark purple. I'm going to use a little bit of that blue and purple that's up here because I didn't get it down here when I did my water, so I want that down in there. The glazing liquid's just helping it kind of go on a little bit more smoothly, not adding so much that it's super transparent. It's kind of a fine line. You don't want it too thick or too much. It'll just basically make your paint fully transparent. Getting more of that glazing liquid and just pulling it along those edges to kind of soften those up. And again, trying to keep it horizontal in my water here. There we go. Whisper.
Good job.
Thanks. The paint whisperer. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Mark's called me that before.
Many times.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. Let's do it on this side. See how I'm flicking my brush? That gives me this soft edge on this side. If I was to draw my brush across, I might not get the soft edge. It's just kind of, instead of pulling my brush and lifting it, I'm just flicking it out. It's kind of tail end of it is wagging. Wag that tail. Yeah, see, that's kind of thin there. It's not covering. It's just kind of... There's, get a little bit more paint, a little bit less glazing liquid there for that. And I want the same kind of darkness right there, so I'm going to get a little bit of my purple. Add that in my water. There we go. And then I'm going to go all the way across that horizon line with this on both sides of that water. And I don't want to go up into my light color, so just kind of keep it low if you can, and try to keep those outer edges blendy. So I put my color, I have not picked up any more paint, so I went all the way across until I kind of started to notice that most of the paint was gone, and then I went back up here and tried to blend out these edges right here and here. That way I know that I don't have so much paint on my brush that it's going to add more paint. I didn't want to add paint, I just wanted to smooth out what was there. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Check.
Of course it did. Whatever you said, it made sense.
Good. Because you were listening.
I was focused in with laser accuracy there. Somebody want to know, do you dampen your Deerfoot Stippler?
No. No, it'll make it soggy, floppy. It's actually already, it's got water in it, so when I use it next time, I'm going to pull out all that moisture that I can get out of it, and that way it'll stay. I mean, I picked up a little bit of water, maybe. I can't even remember. Sometimes if I feel like my paint's getting sticky, I'll pick up a little bit of water for it, but I'm trying not to get my Deerfoots wet. They just don't work as well. But the nice thing is the Willows blenders are synthetic. They're not, well, I don't know. These are probably synthetic too. I'm not really sure. They might be a hog bristle. That's probably what they are. But these don't get floppy. So that's why I'm starting to use them more and more for some of my trees and things, because it's just nice not to have to worry about that. Okay, getting a little bit of white here. Picking up some of these colors. And I'm going to grab my glazing liquid, and right in here, this area is going to be a lot of, actually, let me think. It's going to be right along here, right where these big trees are going to go. So right in here. Yeah, this is the right area. So I want this behind those big trees before I put them in. And I'm just going to go all the way on either side of those trees. And this color in the water has turned out to be just a little bit different than the color up in my upper area, but that's okay, because the water is going to affect the color just a little bit. So we just attribute it to that. And I don't want to cover up all my white here too, so I'm trying to be careful, because if I do that, then I'm going to have to paint my trees back in. And I don't want to have to do that. So if I have to go back in with more white, or one more of that first layer. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's do some over here. I'm going to get more of my glazing liquid. This is a little bit more subtle right here. Mainly glazing liquid, just a little tint of color. Again, keeping it side to side, so soft and blendy. we will be using some of our Zinc White over the top of this so we can soften it up if you get it too dark. We'll be adding a little bit of that. So let's use all these colors that we used for this down in here, all up in here. This is what we're painting down here when we did that. We're painting all these areas where we've got this greenery or whatever this is. Purplery. I like these colors though. Pretty, and I think the brown kind of helps tone that purple down so it's not so like boom in your face like purple. You know, screaming purple. A little bit more neutralized.
So Cinnamon wants you to know that you are amazing.
Oh,
and that she's got to run.
Okay, thank you for hanging out with me today. This has been fun.
Yes.
We'll have to do it again soon.
Thanks for being part of the #, Love Fall Art 2019.
Absolutely. She's the one that invited me, so.
Ooh.
Thanks for letting me be part of it. All right. Yeah, I'm liking this. And how long have we been? An hour. So I'm not making too bad. Pretty good progress for an hour. I figured it'd be about a 2-hour process is what I was kind of thinking when I looked at it. So, of course, I'm never right. So, but I'm hoping today I will be. There's a first for everything, right?
I'm not holding my breath.
I could be.
As long as we go up for Mexican tonight.
Ooh, that's what I was just going to say. We are thinking on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm. I would say great minds, but I was talking about us, so. So
Mediocre minds think alike.
Mediocre minds.
I crack us up. Oh my gosh.
I'd use a sweet side cam, but there's an obstacle in the way this week.
The lamp.
The lamp.
The lamp is in the way. Well, I just feel like it needed a little bit more light because here's with lamp, without lamp.
Well, I'll put it
with
on.
Lamp.
Oh, look at
without
that.
lamp.
Look at that. Do that. Yeah. Keep
It
doing
makes-
that. I can shoot around, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks all right.
We got a little bit around there.
Okay.
Okay, keep painting because it's kind of boring right now.
Will do. All right, I'm just looking at it and trying to see what I need to add still. I'm going to add a little bit more of this, just very lightly dusting, barely anything on my brush. So it's barely dusting a little bit of this color down low. Here. That's pretty. That's so pretty. Yeah, let's do a little bit of the pinkish purple too. A little bit more of the little bit brighter color. I'm just gonna use what's already on my brush here. And in fact, I think I'm gonna switch to my, I'll clean that out. I'm holding like 12 brushes here, as usual. The more the better.
So real quick, if somebody was to get a One Willows blender, which one should they get?
Depends on which size canvas you usually use. If you're using like the 9x12s or smaller, I would use the 1/4 inch. If you're using a bigger one, I would definitely get the 3/8 inch. So you can always use the smaller one and do more with it, you know, but if you can't get the bigger one into tighter spaces as easily. But you don't want to be trying to fill in a huge thing of clouds on a 16x9 inch, 16x20 inch canvas with this brush. Take you 4 days. And this one's probably even too small. And I don't think they make them bigger. I think those are I think there's only 3 sizes of these ones. But they have them bigger in the Select. They're called the Lunar Blender. Let me see if I can get one. Oh,
I'm just playing some background hold music.
oh, sorry. There, see, they make it huge in the Select. It has it in the 1-inch. So
Wow.
I don't like the Select ones as well. Sorry, Princeton, but they're not the same material. So just disclaimer on that. They don't behave quite as the same, but they're still the same shape, and they're all right. They're just not. I like these. I like the VelvetTouch ones better than the Select. Personal preference. All right, so adding white here. So I had this color in my brush for the background here, the purple brown mixture, maybe a little bit of green in there. And then this background one was the purple brown plus a lot of green and yellow. And then that was just mostly the purple green. And now I'm adding magenta, Quinacridone Magenta here. And I'm just gonna, and I've got white in here too. Just gonna add it kind of strategically. And I got this one out for a reason. I was gonna use this brush. Just using it kind of little and doing these kind of horizontal layers of trees. You know how the branches like will come out and you'll see sort of this zigzag pattern kind of all in a cluster. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm just going to kind of zigzag clusters. See? Okay. What?
Oh, I just love watching you explain things with your hands. Zigzaggy in this area.
That is the international symbol for zigzaggy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you didn't know that, obviously.
I haven't known.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Thank
pretty
you.
Much.
And real quick, we've had some people sign up on Patreon.com.
Sweet.
And so we'll just let them know that the traceable for this video will be done from this painting.
Right.
So when she's done, and then maybe after dinner.
And it depends on when my social media guy has time to do it too.
Well,
Because he doesn't necessarily do it exactly right after I do it, but it's usually within 24 hours of the video. It'll be up.
Yeah. So Angela traces it, it gets sent, and then it gets posted.
Right. It has to be sent to him and then it's posted. Yes. Which is so nice. As Brennan is a godsend for sure. Because now I get a day off every now and then. It's so nice. It's amazing. I don't know what to do with myself. Actually been able to read some books again. And so, actually right now I haven't been able to do anything but house stuff because we're remodeling our house. So fortunately the extra time has been able to be spent, not fortunately, but it has been spent doing house stuff.
And that extra time and having Brennan as part of the team is all because of all the Patreon supporters.
Yeah, it is. It is
So
100%.
thank you
We
so
wouldn't be able to
much.
afford to have the help without you guys. We so appreciate it. You cannot even know. It's been such a blessing. Okay. Going along there, and I need a little bit more. I feel like I need to punch up that color a little bit. So I'm going to get a little bit of the purple, a little bit of the magenta. There we go. A little bit brighter. So really only the very edge where they're meeting is super bright. The rest of it down here goes dark pretty quick. That's why I wanted to be sure that it was low enough, because when we put our deer in here, we don't want his belly to be down in this area, because his value and this value are going to be pretty similar if we did this right. And so you don't want to put too, like, that's what's going to happen with our legs here. See how our legs are going to go down into the super dark area, so you won't really be able to see where they start and stop. But you want to be able to see his outline really well. So you want this white area right in here where we can see his belly. Okay.
He's working on his abs.
He's too young for that. He doesn't have to
gonna
worry
say,
about
'cause
that
it
yet. He's
doesn't-
just naturally thin.
Yeah, it doesn't look the same.
He doesn't have to worry about it until he gets to be about 20. Maybe 25. And then, or if it's a she and she has a few babies, then it's all downhill. And then when she gets to 49, she's like, whatever. That's what stretchy pants were made for. Or she goes running like my other running friends, which I'm not into, so sadly.
Unless we're being chased by something vicious.
Right. If you see me running, there's a reason.
You better run too.
Just saying. Oh, gosh. All right, see how I'm doing like that? I'm doing the dark, 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 then kind of medium, and then a little lighter there. So just kind of varying them. Kind of coming right up to that light color with that sort of medium bright. This brush makes it really easy to do this. Gives it a nice little stipple, just tapping with it. And that kind of round crescent shape is kind of natural too. It sort of gives it that bushy feeling automatically without doing too much work. But I am kind of, let's do a lighter area and I'll tell you, like when I do them, I'm not doing them all in a straight line. So I'm not going to go boom, boom, boom with it. I'm going up, down, back and forth with it. And that way you get a little bit more natural broken edge to your highlights. You don't want them to all be, if you kind of line, I mean, sometimes you do want to line them up, but, you know, for the most part on this, it's kind of random. So we're just keeping it random, kind of moving our brush back and forth as we stipple so we don't get any stray lines or unnatural looking areas that look a little too manufactured. I'm going to get that bright magenta and some of that pink. And if you have a fluorescent purple, I think this is the time to use it. Like pop that out and use that. That would be really pretty on here. I mean, if you're going to go for it, why not, right? Go all out. Get that fluorescent purple out.
Go purple or go home.
Exactly. So in here, I'm going to put my kind of highlight color a little bit farther down and put a little bit brighter than I want it to end up. What I'm going to do, because this is the white will dull my color. So it's kind of dulling this pink. It's not as vibrant as it would be if I glazed it on. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add more like bright white in some of these areas, and then I can glaze over the top and add my pink over the top, and it'll be a lot brighter than this is mixed with the white. So the glaze of the pure color over white will be way brighter than the mix of white into my color. So I'm gonna do that. Especially when you're wanting these kind of really super bright colors. We did it on the rowboat a few weeks ago when we wanted that really bright pop of blue on the rowboat. Same concept. And you could see, I mean, when we did that blue over the top, it was like, wow, it was almost too bright. It was really bright. Okay, you can actually see where it's already kind of dried right there, how it's gonna be a lot brighter. Okay, so, and then down in here, it's pretty dark. There is a little bit of a brighter bush in here somewhere, but there's a tree kind of in front of it, so I don't wanna, or kind of behind it, so don't want to do too much there. And I'm getting that really, really dark. Goes dark pretty quick. There's only like this one little patch here where it kind of bright, and then the rest of it is pretty dark, and especially back in here. And I'm going to get that ultramarine blue and dab in ultramarine blue in here in my shadow area.
Can you elaborate on the difference between the Willows blender and the Lunar blender?
Yeah, the one from Select. They're both made from Princeton. Princeton's our brush sponsor. And Fredrix our canvas sponsor. I forgot to mention that. So they're both awesome. And I was using Princeton brushes. I contacted them and I was like, hey, I'm already using your brushes. You want to send me some free ones? And I'll just give you a shout out in my videos. And they're like, yes. And so now I get free brushes from them, which is awesome. But like I said, I was already using them, loved them. So it's a win-win for me. I don't get paid to tell them that, to say that. Unless you consider I will, sing for brushes. So sing for my supper. I couldn't be bought off with brushes, obviously. But fortunately, I was already using them, so it really wasn't. Anyhow, what was the question? I can't remember. Oh, the Lunar blender. So they are okay. So that was drying. It was pretty much dry. So I just got some of the glazing liquid with my fresh quinacridone. This is straight quinacridone, and just a little glazing liquid, and it's gonna brighten that right up. See how nice and bright that looks now. I think that's pretty dry too. Let's go ahead and use that. You don't want to use just straight water because what'll happen is when you add it with acrylics, it'll underbind. It won't stick to your canvas very well. Now this canvas, it might, because it's made for watercolor, which probably means it's kind of like a absorbent ground type of situation underneath. See how much brighter that is than the one over here that we were using. How dull that is, just mixed in with the white, or even up in here, this is that white mixed in with that color. See how much duller that is than this super bright down here. Makes difference. All right, so let's go ahead and use some of this up in our trees too. So some of that brighter pink. Yeah, I don't really know what the difference is in the type. They're the same exact shape, same stiffness. Between the Select and the VelvetTouch, they're just different lines. The Select is a little bit more of an economy line than the VelvetTouch are more of the luxury line of brushes. They're a little bit more expensive, but not too much more. Really, they're still pretty affordable. You get some into money when you're talking about these ones. The 6100 series are a lot more expensive. See what happened there?
It sounds like that you'd use one that's more for nature paintings, and then one that's more for like space theme paintings.
What are you talking about?
Well, a lunar blender. Makes sense that you would use it for space theme.
Oh my gosh!
And willow
Don't
is
listen to him.
kind of from nature. Willow, so with that.
Okay. Don't listen to him at all.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Zip it. Oh my gosh. You need to zoom out because I can't. I'm off camera here. I can't get it in the camera. Yeah, but I'm like way off center on here.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll zoom out a bit.
That's what I told you to do. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you'll speak English. While you're listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth. What movie is that? What movie is that
Do
from?
you understand the words that are coming from my mouth?
What movie is that from?
Somebody should know in chat.
And it's probably very inappropriate and politically incorrect, whatever it was. Okay, super dark right along here, almost black. I'm gonna darken that way up right there. Rush hour. Oh yes, yeah, because he's trying to talk to his partner, the Jackie Chan. Yep. Thank you. That would have bugged me. Thank you. I love that movie. Oh my gosh. Okay, bringing some of this purple down into the water down here. Kind of like a shadow of the body of the, maybe, I don't know what it is. It's something. Okay, we're getting close here. Getting close to our finishing trees, and it is. I'm really liking the water. I wasn't sure exactly how. I stopped pre-painting my paintings a few years back because I was having tendonitis issues, and so every painting is an adventure now. Because I don't pre-paint them, so I'm like, I think I know how this is gonna go, but you never know with painting. It's always, stuff can happen. So it doesn't matter how long I've been painting for, over 30 years now, 33 years, something like that, 32, 31, I don't know. Anyhow, somewhere in there, in the 30s. And yeah, it's still, this painting is not a science. It's, it's a journey. So you're just kind of, even though I've done this and, sort of generally know what the paint's going to do, it can always decide it wants to do something different that day. It's not a perfect science. So it's always a relief when it works. When I don't have to struggle to get it to where I want it to be. We still, even if it was a struggle, we'd work on it until we got it there. It's just, sometimes it works out a little bit better than we...
And that's what a lot of people appreciate about you doing it, honestly, live for the first time, is that they can see that if you struggle on how you figure your way out, and a lot of times when it's pre-recorded, that stuff gets cut out, and it's just like, it's perfect every time. So
just like you get out of the wake up in the morning with full makeup on.
Yes. Well, no, not me.
Not you? Okay. I do.
Maybe my earrings in.
You don't feel like you're ready to face the day without your earrings in, huh?
That's right.
Okay. So silly. Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully we haven't scared off our new ones here. Anybody who came over from Cinnamon's show, we so appreciate having you join us, because I know she shouted us out during her show. And hope you'll come back. Hope you'll subscribe and come back and join us again. We love having you.
Yeah, give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Oh, one thing about the subscribe, I did want to say, if you would, you're like an art video fan, and you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I want to know what Angela's going to be painting next week or whatever, I would click that little bell icon that's right next to the subscribe, not the one that's on the actual videos, because each event that I schedule will have a little bell to remind you just for that event. But if you want to know about all of them, all it does is send you an email when I go live. So it's not like it's going to annoy you and send you 12,000 emails. It's just going to let you know when I go live on YouTube, and we do that twice a week usually. It'll just send you a little email reminder, and then you can check it out, see if it's something you're interested in watching. If you don't do that, chances are if you go a couple weeks without watching any of our videos, YouTube will forget that you want to watch our videos and it'll stop suggesting them. That's pretty much how their algorithm is working nowadays. So, like I said, any of your favorite art channels, if you know, hey, I like that artist and I just want to keep up with what they're doing, I would suggest clicking that bell by your subscribe button, just in case.
And in case you want to get more emails,
Yes.
you can go to the Thankful Art webpage and sign up for the email.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. We have an email list. We do one a week. Hopefully that's not too much, but
So you go to the thankfulart.com.
you can always send me an email if you're like, I only want to get one a month. And we can put you on a list like that, I'm like, we don't do that right now, but we certainly could. So if you are like, I don't really want one every day, every week, we'd rather have you one a month than never. So, but yeah,
okay.
I promise
I don't know if I like this skull painting anymore.
Why?
Because it's got more views than the tank video.
I wasn't sure it would. Well, Cinnamon helped me out and shared it on her Facebook page, so then it got a few more views because I think our normal folks were that into it. Our normal audience.
Well, it is the wallpaper on my phone right now, so.
I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's definitely different than anything else I've ever painted. I've never done a skull before, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. When I saw that with the rose, I was just like, yeah. I was looking for Halloween images. It was in my Halloween image search, It kind of just popped up, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I don't hardly very often paint anything Halloween themed. I usually do one a year, usually, something like that. Or, we do a lot of fall images, like pumpkins and things, but Halloween based. We've done what did we do? I don't even know what we did last year. I know the year before we did a moon with a wolf. We may not even have done one last year at all. That was Halloween themed. But I'm using the same color that I was using over here. It's got a little bit of the magenta mixed in, but not much. It's the tree color. So it's going to be the color of our trees that we're going to be putting on in front. It's nice and dark. And I'm just putting that on in here. And I didn't end up adding any of that bright magenta over here, so I need to still do that. So I'm going to grab some of that while I'm thinking about it, because I keep forgetting and I was doing other things. So I want to add some of our bright magenta in here. Come on. I need to spray my paints. They're getting a little bit dry. A little bit of magenta. Let me grab that. There we go. You notice I'm using the very tip of the brush too, or the side of it, on this Deerfoot stippler, especially this big one. You don't want to be setting it down straight, because it's going to just going to create this big old blob. Okay, let's put some of this indication of this brighter pink down in our dark area over here. Put some over here too. I'm liking it. See how we're just doing kind of different versions of the same color scheme. So we did the kind of muted magenta. Now we're doing some of the darker stuff. I'm going to definitely do some of this darker up in this corner. There we go. And let's get some down low here. All up in there. I know. I'm sorry. Okay. I'll stop whispering.
Liar.
You sit on a throne of lies.
But you don't smell like beef and cheese.
Good. Good to know. And hopefully don't look like Santa either, so. This is our elf conversation here, sorry. This is like our favorite Christmas movie ever. It's the best. Every time Mark leaves, or the boys leave the house, like our older boys, our two oldest are like 28 and 26. And every time Mark's like, bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Every time they leave the house, like, we sure they're like, oh my God, Dad, stop. They're going to be like 60 and you're still going to be going, bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. From the nursing home.
It's funny to me.
It is hilarious. It is funny. They laugh. Sure. I don't know.
I think it's just
How
a courtesy
sincere the
laugh.
laughter is. But
Courtesy laugh.
yeah, courtesy laugh. They courtesy laugh you.
They get that from you.
I'm good at it.
Mm-hmm. You've perfected it.
I have perfected the courtesy laugh. We've had lots of practice. 30-something years. Okay. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next weekend we will be done. I don't know. I doubt it. But we have people coming, so my son's going to be here next weekend to stay. So we're going to at least have to have the extra bedroom done so he can have a place to sleep. So hopefully, our house will be. It's 99, no, maybe 96% done.
What?
I would say. Don't you think? Yes.
I would put it in the high 80s.
High 80s? Okay. No, because all that's got left is a little bit of paint. That's going to take literally one day.
Mm-hmm. Every room still has something left to be done in it.
That is the thing that's driving me crazy. I have to say. It would be nice. We have
like what happened to the shiplap.
We have 2 rooms in the house that are fully done. No, maybe 3. 3 rooms in the house that are 100% fully done. And the rest of them are all still in progress. You're right. I don't know. My original estimate was Halloween, and I may be about right on that. I would have liked to have been done earlier, but this has been going on since July. So sorry, you get the Reno talk with our video for free. So just mixed up a little bit more of that background green. I didn't have any left. I'd kind of used it all, so I just needed a little bit more in this in-between area right in there. Just very soft. Added a lot of the glazing liquid so that it's super soft and blendy. And then before I do anything else with the upper trees, these background trees have a haze on them. So this is going to be a longer video than 2 hours, I can just tell you right now. But hopefully not much longer than 2. Because I think I need at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes for the deer itself. So, and then the other trees are going to take another 15 minutes at least. So,
well, there's only 24 hours in a day.
This is just about done. It's almost dry.
But next year is a leap year, so
Oh, really?
we got some extra time.
Nice. I'll need it. I'm going to get my other brush. I magically have a dry brush.
Voila.
Voila. From the magic of TV. And I am going to use my Zinc White with my glazing liquid And I need to put out more glazing liquid, but I'm not going to do it right this second. And that zinc white is starting to get a little iffy, so we'll see. I'm going to start in my lightest area here and tap that in. I can go a little bit brighter in that area, so I'm going to go ahead and get almost full strength of zinc white in that area. I'm still going to kind of tap most of it off so that it's not super thick on my brush. There we go. See how that does? So it's going to look like kind of fog. Super cool. So let's do all of these, and we're just going to do layers of fog. We're not going to cover all of it, but we're going to do these kind of layers of fog drifting in and out on top of our tree trunks and branches. So some of these are going to get lightened up a bit. And think about the way the fog does, you know, when it's coming through, it kind of does it in these little kind of low layers, and it creeps along. So that's what we're trying to do here, keeping it our brush thin. Scrubby scrub. Oh, nice. If I get too much, I can kind of wipe it off. As long as my paint underneath is dry.
So, have you done a video where you've used the open acrylics?
No. No, but I want to. In fact, I was thinking that this one I might do it in the water. I really considered using white underneath in the water, because then I could, the upper layers, I could have done that kind of like cool, like swishy effect. But I decided I didn't want to. I need to do it like with my Patreon Thursday group sometime, and just like do an experiment day.
Oh, okay. So I lied. I thought that you had used them before in your videos.
No.
Sorry for lying.
Nope, I have not. But I do have an open acrylic gel medium that, and I have open acrylic white. So I have it. I just haven't used it yet. All right, I like that. See the difference between that and that? Look at how cool it looks. It's like all misty forest now. Mystifying our forest. If we wanted to, we could add a little bit of color to it. If we, if you wanted a little bit of that green in it, you could add. I could add a little bit of that in there to some of these that are in this darker area here. I'm trying not to cover all of the trees. I want to leave a little bit of some of these areas still showing.
We may need to end the stream early because the deer jokes are getting too much in chat.
Are they? Now, if you say that, then I know it's bad, because you're the king of puns. And I noticed that Brennan, who's doing my newsletter, helps me with that. He's been doing puns for the titles of all my newsletters lately. So it was like,
of course,
it's a gourd day. The other day, it was like, it's a gourd life. Like, it's a good life, gourd life. I was like, no, Brennan, please. But he snuck it through before I realized what was happening.
I give it the thumbs up.
Not at 2, Brennan. Seriously.
So his paycheck may be a little lighter this week. Pun penalties.
Penalty. I love that. It's a pun text. Okay, so gonna do the same thing in our water, and this will be really cool because then we'll get that kind of water effect out of it. I just had to put out a little more glazing liquid, and boom, we're gonna do it side to side. That'll soften up, smooth out all of these kind of, if you've got any dark areas or rough areas in our water. gonna do magic things in here. Just to watch. I don't know what that is. Streaky. Streaking it back and forth, and I'm using the very tip of it, so it's catching just the tip. Oh, so pretty. So this is with it, this is without it. You can see kind of a little bit harsher areas here, so when we do those with this, it'll all kind of even out those highlights and make them a little softer.
So which paint are you using to do the foggy?
Zinc White.
Zinc White.
And glazing medium.
And if you're a medium, you could use large.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, you said zinc white and medium.
Mm-hmm.
So I said if you're a medium, you could use large.
I know I heard you, and now that I didn't hear you, I just wasn't sure what you meant by that.
What did you mean by medium?
I have no idea what you mean.
You have no idea?
I don't. Oh, God. No. Stop. You did that on purpose, didn't you? You baited me. That was a classic bait. You were waiting for that opportunity. Like, I'm going to say something really weird, and she's going to say, I don't know what you mean.
As that guy on The Simpsons would say, dough?
Okay, going in with the brighter Quinacridone Magenta. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. Okay. Get that. I don't know what that is. It keeps getting on there. It's like a little piece of something. There. Okay, go away. It's probably from my hands. I need to wash my hands off. Touching little pieces of that paint. Acrylics will stick to each other, so when you have it on your hands, little pieces like that, and you touch it on even dry paint, it can come off. All right, we get to splatter this one too, which I'm super excited about.
But in all seriousness, somebody asked if they don't have the glazing medium, what could they use with the zinc white to try to get the same effect?
Just a little bit of water. It will work because zinc white's already transparent, so you won't have to work too hard with it. I'm not adding a whole lot of the glazing liquid. If you were using titanium white, I would use like a matte medium or something, or a gel medium of some sort. Not gel, probably, because that won't thin your paint. But just some sort of acrylic medium that can help your paint flow a little bit, or thin it a little bit. Let's see if I can get that off. That's a little dark right there. All right, I got it all over. I have it all over my hand and everywhere. How did I do that down there?
And did you match your shirt to your painting on purpose?
I didn't, but it worked out pretty cool. I honestly did not do that. I just grabbed it because it was the only thing clean. Because literally, it's the only thing clean. And I put, we each probably put like about 2 weeks of clothes in when we started the renovation. And fortunately, I put in some long sleeves, some like winter stuff, because I thought that it could go to where it's cold, because it's been getting cold. But anyhow, yes, so
this portion on how to clean your hands is brought to you by baby wipes.
Oh,
Don't have a baby? Doesn't matter. As long as
we literally bought a full box of these. They have been the best thing. I think we have 12 down there. I think we haven't opened yet. I think.
So I'm at the store. She's like, get a lot. So I take a picture of like one package, no more. And it's like, so like the 400 package count. I mean, it'll bring home like a case.
We have so many of these. But I've gone through at least 3 of them. So we've needed them. Oh man. The Reno life. We could have a whole show just about that. Nobody would watch it, but it would, learned a lot. Don't want to do it again anytime soon. I'm so sick of all the restaurants in town. I can't stand it. I thought I'd never say that either. Mark can tell you I don't like to cook a whole lot. He's the cook in our family, but I am like desperate to make cookies or do something, some chili, anything. All right, I have got to clean my palette here. Got another room to work here. Let's just scrape off my glass palette and try to leave my wet areas, but there we go. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna get it clean. Clean towel too. And I just got paint all over my hand. I think it'll be alright. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, titanium white glazing liquid. So I want a little bit more opaqueness to my highlights down in here under my deer. So I'm gonna get that titanium white, and where I'm gonna put my deer reflection, I want to get a little bit more of that. So I'm using what brush is this? Filbert, thank you. I couldn't think of it. It's Filbert. This is the time of the show when I start to lose my brain functioning. Get so deep in that art brain. I love how Cinnamon she stopped halfway through or whenever her show, and she was like, okay, now when you get in the, Zen meditative art, when you get to painting, you kind of lose track of time and you lose track of pain, and that's why a lot of people, paint for therapy, but you might need a break, so you need to stop every now and then and take a break, take a deep breath, and stretch your arms out and stuff. And so I was like, I need to do that. I need to remember that. I'm so bad about getting in that art brain and not stopping to do that. So that was very smart, I thought. Okay, so now we're going to put in our dark. I'm pretty happy with my all of that. I might add another little bit of the brighter highlights, but I'll see. I don't know if I need it or not. I feel like there's kind of a line though right along that horizon there where I can see where it's not really covered those trees all the way up. So I want to get some opaque color, some of my light pink and a little bit of purple. It's magenta, not pink, but you get the idea. And just stipple right over the top of that just a little bit, just to kind of obscure so there's not a hard line right there. Okay.
So when you get down to this point, you are the artist, so you can choose to not go any further.
Yeah, that's true.
You can say this is
right
beautiful as it is and be done.
It is. It's really pretty.
Or you can go on with the deer, or you could put in another animal or whatever you want to. So It's your painting.
Very true.
Make it yours.
Deep thoughts with Mark Anderson. I like it.
You're welcome. You can splatter. You cannot splatter.
No. Don't.
What?
No. Don't go there.
You said you were going to splatter.
Do not. Yes. You're going to splatter, and I will find out if you don't. So that's all I'm saying.
So, all right. So if you traced,
I'm totally joking.
you're minus 10,000 points. And if you don't splatter, that's a minus 5,000. So your art score is going to be like horrible.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I had to say that. Okay. I'm putting out fluid zinc white because that's easier to splatter with. And I'm going to let it sit there, though. I'm not going to do it right away, but I'm going to have it there ready. Okay, so I got my bigger brush. You can use whatever size brush you want. For your larger trees, I'm going to have to move my mic over. You moved it in front of me again, but I can't do it right there. It's got to be... Let me move it up. Is it making noise? Sorry. Is it not working at all? Okay, that's far enough away. I'm going to mix up a little bit more of this, and I might add just a touch of black, burnt umber, and purple. I could even add a little bit of blue. I think I will. It's this blue, blacky, purple color for our trees. There we go. Press my brush flat so I have a good edge to it here, and I'm going to come down right here, or let's actually start here. That's on the either side of our deer. So our deer's going to go here. Actually, before I go any farther, I'm going to sketch out my deer. Oh shoot, I forgot. I didn't even do that part. This video is going to go forever. Oh man. Okay. So we got that far. So here's his little neck, this way, and right here. He's way too big. He's way too big.
So somebody pointed out that the art scores could work like golf scores. The lower the score, the better.
The score, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's...
But I don't know if that's true.
I think that's probably valid, because I think with art, you know, the more you rebel, the more authentic it is, right? I always love the people that comment with my videos, especially the ones that are like beginner level videos, and they're like, you could have done XYZ. And I'm like, yeah, I could have. But if, like, where did you not see that it was like for beginners? You think, anyhow, I don't know. That's my pet peeve. Like, if we were talking about how we've gotten hate mail and stuff, that one was just one of the most, those comments always get to me. I'm like, seriously, peoples. If I had 5 hours, I could do exactly what I wanted with it, but I don't have it when I'm doing it on YouTube. Now, I'll do that on my Facebook group ones for patrons. Those, for sure, I take my time, and I take all month to do it. But the ones on YouTube, they are what they are. They're an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is that we take to do them, and then they're done. They're not going to be perfect. They never are. There's no way you could get it perfect in that amount of time. Doing it the way we do it first time. There's always going to be something that I could have changed, but you just have to go with it. All right, so I don't know why I'm doing it on here, but all right, because I'm just going to have to transfer it onto the thing, but it'll be easier to do it on here than it is to sketch it on my thing. So you probably need to zoom in though for me, hon, so they can see what I'm doing. Very small little leg. And the legs are about the same length as the body to the top of the head. So this face looks weird. I'll mess with it later. So this comes up right here. Tail.
But it is always reassuring to know that there are perfect people in the world that are willing to let us know how bad we are.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I mean,
that's true.
It's reassuring
it's a public service,
that they care enough,
right?
To think that we really care what they think.
I heard Lackery. I like Lisa Kulo. I'm not sure exactly how you say her name, but she's she has Lackery art here on YouTube, and she I get her. I subscribe to her newsletter, and I got it the other day, and it said she was saying, the people who will be the most critical are often the ones that have the most time on their hands. That they're not going to be the ones that you really want to hear from, because the artists that are really working hard and doing their thing and succeeding at it, they have too much time on their hands. They're too busy making art to criticize other people, and I thought that was a good comment. It's like, you gotta think about where the source is, who these people are that are making these kind of comments and things. They're not going to be the people who are succeeding at it. They're going to be, bitter, angry. There's something has not gone right somewhere. Because if you're happy in your career and you're working hard at it, and you don't have time to go through and find things that are wrong with other people's art and pick it apart. That's just not how it works, So I thought that was a good point.
It's the same with Excel spreadsheets.
Really?
The good ones just don't have time to go criticize others.
Mm-hmm. I have no comment. Okay. This is taking forever. I am not a fast drawer. Sorry, guys.
You should have done this before the show.
I should have done it before the show.
But you didn't.
But I was watching Cinnamon.
And here we are.
I know. I had
And that's
planned on
okay.
doing it before the show, but I was watching
Cinnamon's
Cinnamon show
broadcast, yeah.
and chatting with everybody and having fun. So that's why I'm taking...
Well, okay. I won't go anywhere.
There we go. So that's the right... that is the right one right there. That's where we want. There, and around. And then that neck is really small. And then that chin's coming back this way, looking back at his tail. It comes to about halfway. And then angles back straight. And comes up around the flat, up around the eye. Where that eye is. Which is right in here. And then there is, it's so quiet in here now. That air went off. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. Phew, I hope it's big enough. Because God help me, I don't want to draw it again. If it's not, I'm going to have to trace it. Because I'm not going to draw it again.
That's good.
What do you think? I don't know. It's a little bit small.
It's okay.
So the other thing you could do, and I think I'm going to because look at how his small, he's, well,
No.
he's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
His face, well, okay, let me do this. I'm going to bring his tail out a little bit. Where is that? I can't believe I got it so close. So this comes down a little bit more. And then that's a little bit farther down. Wow, that was pretty impressive if I did say so myself. I did not think I got it that close to this one. Oh, I didn't make his legs long enough. That's what it is. That's what it is. His legs a lot knobby, so the knobby part comes down here.
Maybe they've already done the Deerfoot Stippler. Why his legs are short.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Well, that makes more sense too, because they have those little long, kind of super knobby knees. Okay. Good deal. All right, so we'll stick him in right in here. This paint is super sticky tonight. So I'm just going to put them just right above. Let's get that caliper out. See where we're at here. So I want them over just a little bit. Right there. Just so he's hidden right in there. Let me see. I'm going to come up. Bump him up. Come on. Sticking. There we go. Right there. So the top of his belly is right above that light area there. Okay, and I'm going to grab my, where is it? What do I do with my white? There it is. It's stuck to my yellow. Alright, I'm just giving up. I'm not even going to try to be done at any particular time. Sorry, guys. This is a long one. We're just going to take our time. I don't want to rush it because I want to do it right. Alright. Get our little tool out here. You can use a ballpoint pen if you don't have a stylus like this one. And when I transfer, I'm going just inside my lines so that when I do my drawing over the top, or when I paint over the top, it has plenty of room to work. So I can go over the top of my line completely and not have to worry about it. Okay, so if you were going to trace it directly, I'm going to go ahead and just flip it like this, right? And try to get it about the same distance. But I'm going to come down a little bit from there, like back in here somewhere. Because those legs are really elongated in our reflection. I'm going to do that. Actually, a little bit more. Okay. Try to make sure I'm lining it up. And I'm going to try to exaggerate this a little bit and come out a little bit farther than. So this time I'm going to go on the outside of my lines a little bit. I want these to be long and oh, can't see it. Shoot. It's too light right there. All kinds of trouble. It's yellow. Let's see if that helps. So this is just transfer paper. That's all it is. Nothing fancy. This kind, though, is nice because it's water soluble. The Saran brand, or Sorel, I mean. Not Saran, that's wrap. Oh man. And it'll dissolve when we start to paint with it. So makes it really easy to use. Okay. So you see all these little bits that happen. I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. So I'm just going to take a damp cloth and just damp those off. That's the nice thing about this kind of paper. The other paper that I've used for years and years and years did not do that. So I just discovered this literally last year. And man, it's so awesome. Because if you press too hard, especially this paint is not cured. So if you having to wipe too hard, like over here, I wiped a little bit of that paint off by doing that. So, oh no, that dried. It dried on me. Darn it. Okay, phew, I caught it. No. See, it's crumbling underneath. Oh, darn. Okay. When you thin out your paint like that, it dries so much faster, so I didn't leave it in a pile. I forgot. And it's kind of crumbly underneath there, but I think we'll be able to function. So I'm going to go on this side of that deer there. Leave plenty of room. And using the edge of my brush there, I'm just going to do my big old tree trunks going nice and dark, and I'm coming right from the edge of the water. And I want to do it in this direction too. So it's going to come out. This way. Right there. See that? Try my best to kind of match that angle if I can. I'm going to go a little bit thicker with it all the way up. There we go. Okay, now this one is going to be a little bit wider, so I'm going to go ahead and use my flat edge. And I'm going to wiggle it. And as I go up, I'm going to kind of turn it a little bit so it gets a little bit more narrow. But I do want it to be opaque enough that you can't see I don't want to see these trees through it, right? So I need to get enough paint on there. Kind of a fine balance sometimes. You may just need to do 2 coats on it because you may not be able to cover all of that under color on our first try. We'll get it as close as we can, but you just don't want to be able to see like branches through your trees, obviously. You know, want to see the under layers that we've done with branches, so, or whatever. Okay, so, okay, we need to come out this way. This is really good practice for your drawing too. You know, having to match up. This is one of the drawing things, these mirrored practices where you draw something one way, and then you draw this side of it, and then you come around and you draw the other side of it to match the opposite mirror. Really. And it can be easier to see it if you turn it that way too. So, it can be a little bit easier to see where to do it. Just however it's easier for you. Okay. And what you can do, if you wanted to, is paint your whole upper, trace it with the tracing paper, flip it, transfer it. Then you got it exactly. So that's a way to kind of speed up the process. So if this kind of stresses you out and you're like, I really don't want to have to try to match this up.
It's easier for me if you do it. It is. Yep.
And I kind of got that one off a little bit. That should have come in a little bit more right there. It's easier if I do it. If you do it. If I do it for you. I see what you're saying. Sorry. You're distracting me right now. I need to concentrate. I call it time out on the
Oh, time out.
Okay, so I'm trying to see how far up those branches are. So I want to say right up in here somewhere.
So you're on base. Okay.
I'm on base. Time out. No more jokes. Give me 5 minutes. So I can do this. I'm just going to make it easy on myself and try to go straight up and down. I don't have to worry about it. There we go. Man, how easy was that? So great. I'm going to get some glazing liquid and make it a little bit more transparent-ish on down here. But okay, I'm not worried about where these are meeting up because we're going to put some bushes and things in between. So it's okay if they just come straight up and down. I'm going to go ahead and do some right up through. And if I curve it this way, I'll curve it this way, and then I'm going to curve it this way back in. A little bit thicker down here. Just trying to get as close as I can. It's okay if it's not perfect. You know what? If you mess up, I'll show you what you can do. If you get it really bad in here, we'll just throw some of this stuff over the top. It'll be okay. I'll do like boom, boom, boom. That was not dry yet. I'm whispering again. Okay. So I feel like I need a few of these kind of medium dark ones back in here because I disappeared all of them. Okay, see how we do. All right, let's do the same thing over here. Take our time with it. And everybody's gone to dinner. We got some people still hanging out with us. Hopefully. I promise we'll get there. This is just one that's a little bit more complicated. Okay. So this is, of course, I made this really difficult on myself. Okay. So I have to come out. No, I have to go this way. What was I thinking? Okay, I need to come this way. And then back in. There we go. I need to come. I'm going to have to do that because I made a mistake right there. So we'll just make it like we meant to do that. All right. Don't do that. Do not. Please. Not without a traceable. That was not fun. Why I did that to myself. Okay, I'm going simple on this one. Straight up and down for me. I wanted one that was kind of interesting by the deer, but man, that one was just a little too interesting. Not even sure if I got it right, but oh well.
worry. Somebody will let you know
Yeah.
if you did it.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to do one kind of halfway up the hill right here. Kind of there. So I'm going to start it about right in here. Okay. Big old tree right here, leaning this way. Right up to that water's edge. And then leading this way. There we go. I don't know what I did right there. I'm gonna come straight up with something right here.
Do you promise?
Sorry. Okay. One more right in here and it'll be done. Kind of these baby ones right in here. All right. Whew. Man, it got quite intense there for a second. All right, I'm gonna get some of this. Some of our hillside color. A little bit of white. It's actually kind of dark right there, so let's get some of that darker blue and pink. To tap over the edge of those trees right there where they meet up. Obscure that bottom edge of them. If you wanted to, you could even get fancy and do a shadow, but I'm not going to. Okay, like that. Then this tree has a little bit of this pink kind of coming over the edge. Right up in here, like a letter. Highlight color. And then we're going to get that, now the burnt sienna quinacridone burnt orange is coming into play with the Cadmium Red Light and the cadmium, or the Quinacridone Magenta. I'm gonna do our trees right in front here. Do them nice and dark at first. We can even get a little bit of purple in there. Keep them nice and low. They're right along that border of the water. So when we hit the water edge, what we're going to do, which we did already right here, I'm going to kind of, just going to, and just go over the top, across, right there where that water line starts. Oh my gosh. So I'm keeping it fairly dark here at first, but we'll brighten it up once we do our upper layers. Just want to start out slow, and that's why I wanted that deer drawn in, so I kind of know where to put these. And now scrubby scrub down in the water, side to side, kind of in the same general areas with this color. Over the top of our tree trunks, because it's going over the top up here. Still let them kind of see through, but see how we're just obscuring them a little bit. All right, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to get that yellow and add that to that color. A little bit of white. That's pretty. Get a little bit of glazing liquid. Dab some of that on. Keeping my brush horizontal so I get some good like side to side. Use the Quinacridone Burnt Orange and the Cadmium Red Light now to get a little bit even brighter. See that?
This kind of reminds me of that video that was going around on Facebook when the deer was caught on the camera playing in the water,
that's cool.
jumping in the water and hopping around.
Yeah, love that. That was a cute video. I'm a sucker for a good animal video. No matter what kind of animal it is. I watched a video yesterday of, I think the Oregon Zoo does an enrichment with their elephants where they put out pumpkins every year. The pumpkin, they like literally just went flying, running at them and just smashed them. And they were like massive pumpkins. And I mean, he just ran right up to it and just, just smashed it and started chowing down on it. It was great. I love that. Okay. More white here, just kind of a lighter version. And we can add a little bit of yellow to it to just make it pop a little bit more.
And this is the 3/8 Deerfoot?
Yeah, and that yellow against that purple will
Willow
look
Splendor.
really pretty good. Willow Splendor.
3/8 Willow Splendor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So a little bit of yellow. Looks really good against that purple color. I got a little bit too bright over here, so I'm going to get a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta and Cadmium Red Light. And a little bit of that burnt orange, and just use that over here. Because as we get away from the light source, we're going to get darker over along these fringe edges here. So I don't want to do them that bright. Okay, so let's do, I don't know why this is taking me so long. So long.
Because you're doing so awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so sweet. Okay, I am not happy with the water. Like, I think it looks too solid. So what I want to do is get my Zinc White out. And I'm just gonna go over the top of that. Just a little bit. Back and forth. I just got my color a little bit too. There we go. And I want it darker in the edges though, so I want to get a little bit of that purple glazing liquid. Use that over here. Kind of darken up right along that edge of the water. There we go. Just adding back in those kind of horizontal lines that sort of break up the. It was getting too solid orange-ish. I didn't leave enough of the undercolors showing when I was doing that, so just get a little bit of that over here. And just when you're doing the orange just in your water, just keep it a lot lighter. Leave a little bit more of the watercolor showing than I was doing there. That's looking a lot better. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just go over some of my tree trunks in just a few places with some of this Zinc White. It'll kind of add a little reproduction like into our. I have way too much of this. I'm going to tap so I don't. Too much purple, not enough white. Okay. So I'm just going back and forth here with my Zinc White, and not going to be as whitish in these areas over here, but I just want a little tiny bit of this kind of feeling of the, especially right in here. Okay, that's good. Good. All right, and then let's put just a little bit more of the tree texture in.
And you could stop here with just the spirit deer.
I could just do a spirit deer. I'm tempted. Remember that song that the kids would sing? This is the song that never ends. That's how I kind of feel right now about this painting. Just saying. Okay, we'll get there. Put out more purple and more quinacridone here. Burnt umber, where is that? There it is. I'm going to need it for my deer. Okay. Now we don't need much of this upper layer because a lot of these tree branches are covered, but I got a little bit of that purple brown mixture there, and I'm adding quite a bit of the quinacridone to it so we get a little bit brighter layer level, and there we go. And so let's just pick some areas where we want. And of course, if you want to get fancy, which, you know, I don't want to mess with it right now, but you could add a bunch of more branches, but just make sure that you kind of did them down here. I don't want to deal with that right now. But, you know, like I said, if I could come back to it and do it another day and take my time, I would do that too. I would add more branches and stuff. Same deal. Just, you know, make sure that I get them in the right angle, that kind of thing.
So I think you may have said at the beginning of the video, but why did you go with this 12 by 12 canvas?
Because it was going to make it much harder to finish. No, it was because it was just, the only other size that I had was 8 by 8, and I thought that would be too small. So that was the real reason. Which it'll be easier when we do our deer, and it's easier in to get the effect that we want. It just takes longer to cover the canvas. It's just bigger, but in the end, I think it'll be easier for us to get the effect that we're looking for. We're just taking our time getting there. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of glazing liquid with this color. Do it in my water. Kind of where that is up there. Behind that tree there. And all in here. Okay. Okay, let's paint our deer. Actually, let's splatter first, and then let's paint our deer. And we're going to use Zinc White to splatter because it'll be transparent-ish and look a little bit more like fairy dust on our magical forest. I'm going to let that set for a minute. And I'm going to tap off some of them. But if you look at our reference photo, they're all up in there. I'm not making it up. They're in there. Of course, this is a made up image, so somebody made it up. It's a digital image. It's not a photograph. So whoever it is of my kindred spirit with the splattering. I want to thank them. See, the dabbing him off will Just kind of lightens the effect a little bit, softens it. You still get the splatters, but they're not as obvious. And then there's some that are really big. So I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush. And lots of glazing liquid. I don't want it to be super thick. Lots of glazing liquid, lots of water. Okay, let's be careful about this. I want some really big splatters here. Scoop it up. I want them even bigger than that. The more water you have, the bigger your splatters are going to be. So, but you need that zinc white in there, otherwise, or not the zinc white, you need the glazing liquid in with this mixture, otherwise it won't come off your brush. There we go. Now we're talking. There's not, I even like them bigger, but this is probably the biggest I can get with this brush, which is fine. Okay, we'll let that set. What was that on my phone? Weird noise. Okay. Let's paint our deer and we'll be done. Let Mark go get his burritos. I lost my cap for my eraser here. What did I do with it? What in the world would have gone? Okay. Well, that wasn't supposed to be there. Lost my little cap from my eraser. Oh well. I will. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. And my brushes aren't clean yet, so the ones that I've been using that are still a little bit dirty, I'm gonna not leave in my water. I want to just dab them off, clean them as quickly best as I can in a short time span, and just set them aside. Okay, dabbing those off. As you can see, that kind of leaves it kind of a ghost of the circle. Alright. Let's paint in our little deer dudes. And I don't know if the 3 is probably too big. So I think I'm just going to use my 1. And deer, burnt sienna, burnt umber. Go really dark around the outside of him. So I put the lighter color down, and then I'm just kind of outlining it with that darker color a little bit.
Could you say the colors that you're using again there for the deer?
Burnt umber and burnt sienna. For the dark part, I'm using burnt umber by itself, pretty much. And then the kind of middle parts, the lighter areas, I'm using it mixed with a little bit of the burnt sienna. Burnt umber here. Okay. Little knobby knee. Straight leg. Knobby knee here.
And is that your 1/0 brush or
Yes, one round.
number 1 round?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice thing is there's not a whole lot of difference between the light and dark here. You know, there's not a whole lot of contrast here, so got a little bit more room to play with. And I think I got my neck a little too big right there. A little bit more narrow right there. And this area is pretty much just a triangle right there. Comes in a slight angle. Pretty blunted. I'll leave that. I think I did the ear a little bit too big. We'll see. Get some of that unbleached titanium, mix that with this color. And do the inside of the ear. And do the coloring on the neck. Right there. Little bit on the tail. A bit on the inside of that leg there. And then inside of this leg a little bit. These back legs. And a little bit where the eye's going to be, right in here. I'm going to get a little bit of black just right here on this crease right here. Do a little bit of black right there. Get a little bit of the burnt umber and kind of blend that out. Okay. Let's let that set for a minute. let's do the one in the water. So the one in the water is going to be a lot lighter, so I'm just mixing that color with the burnt sienna mixture and whoops. Why is it going like that? So I'm going to come down from that leg and come out and then back in. I'm going to use a bunch of this glazing liquid here. It's going to be like the massive deer. This is how it's drawn. We may just want to do the the reflection a little bit more realistic size, but that's up to you. I'm not sure I'm loving this like monster version of it. Okay, and then I am going to glaze the heck out of that because I really don't like it very much. So let me use the white and boop. While it's wet, I'm gonna glaze over it a little bit. Okay. It looks a little bit deformed. Make it a little bit darker right in there. I really don't like this reflection part of it. I should have drawn it out separate. Let me try this again. I'm seeing a lot of that yellow from our tracing in it too. Trying to decide if I want to use that same brush. Let's use the Willows blender. I think that'll just give me a softer look to it all, just in general. Use that black or the burnt umber in a thin glaze. I think it might just be too far away. I think since I moved my thing up, I need to move the deer up too. I think that might be it. Yeah, that's better. Just a little bit closer to it. I just don't like that super elongated look that was going on. You can always change your painting. So, you know, if you get it in there and you're just like, you know, that's not working for me. I do it all the time. You don't have to go with what exactly you're seeing. As long as you kind of have the same gist of it, you're going to be just fine. Although, it can go off the rails, so I would be careful. But we're just doing it a little closer to the normal size, so we're fine. Back door. Too big there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, better. All right. So up in here, I'm just going to grab some of my white and my zinc white. I'm just going to go over my tracing color a little bit. That yellow is still showing up there. A little bit of white. Is anybody even still watching this?
309.
Ooh, okay. Well, good. Awesome. Thank you guys for sticking out with us. I appreciate it. Alrighty, I'm going to let that dry a little bit and I'll glaze over it. I don't want to mess it up right now because I'm happy with it. So, and I might add a little bit darker too. Let's get a little bit of black. Do the eye. A little bit of black on the nose. And if I need to, I can do a little on there. I'm going to get some of my unbleached titanium and a little bit of the zinc or the burnt sienna mixture over here. And I'm using the number 1 here. Just dab my little spots on my deer. So cute. So cute. Oh. And like I said before, earlier in the show, if you missed it, like if you want to simplify this, 100% easiest way to do that is to make him solid. Just make him solid and do the exact same opposite in the water. Maybe elong him just a little bit, but for the most part, you know, the same, and you're good to go. I'm going to use a little bit of this lighter color for some of our spots that are transferring to our reflection. I'm pretty happy with that. I might glaze them just a little tiny bit with the burnt sienna. A little bit of glazing liquid over the spots and kind of around the edges somewhat. Get a little bit more of that lighter color for right in there.
Can you explain or what you mean by make them solid?
Yeah, just do him in a solid color, just a solid shadow, and then you don't have to worry about the drawing him in. Be a lot easier. I'm gonna clean up his profile just a little bit with white. All right. Well, he's not bad for a paint drawing on the go. I usually like to have some time to look at my drawings before I go to canvas, but we did not have time. And pretty happy with all of up there. Happy with my fog. Good with that, I think. Yeah, if anything, we could do a little bit more in these bushes here. I'm going to grab my 3/4 inch angle, or I'm saying quarter inch angle, and get some of my Quinacridone Burnt Orange and Quinacridone Magenta. Mix those two together with some of my white. And maybe a little bit of yellow. I'm just adding little teeny tiny leaves to some of these to keep it light. You don't want to do this everywhere because this is where your eye is drawn in right here. We're pulling the eye in to our little deer in the middle here. So this light, everything dark around the edges, and then this light area in here is just going to be like a beacon. We'll pull our eyes in and we'll be like, what is that? I can use the same color with my glazing liquid, just like before. Just put a little bit of it in my water. Pulling off most of the color. Okay, and then let's grab that Zinc White. Our deer's dry. Just gonna glaze my water reflections over my deer. Oh, my deer's not all the way dry. Where it is, it's got a little bit of that pink in my brush. So if you have a tree or something that you don't like, you can put some bush over it and then do the same over here. You know, that's what I was going to say before. If you got something that, you know, where you're like, yeah, I don't really like that knee or whatever, you know, just add a little bit more of your highlight over it or something. A little bit more of the Zinc White. There we go. Phew. Did we do it? I don't know. Are we done? It looks pretty close. I'm going to do one more layer of splattering and then we'll be done because I feel like we kind of covered it. We got rid of a lot of our splatters, so I'm going to go a little bit brighter with the white. And especially in the water. Yeah, I feel like doing the splatters too, it kind of confuses the eye a little bit too. It kind of blurs everything out a little bit, and so it's kind of like
especially if you get them in your eye.
Little atmosphere, but it also kind of your eye kind of goes in and out of focus. So it's kind of like, I don't know, masks what you're seeing there a little bit. I want a little bit of the Cadmium Red Light and burnt sienna, or burnt orange here. I just noticed there's that bright pop of red right there, but none of it in the water. All right. Whew. Man, we did it. That was a tough one. Go over the feet a little bit. And I feel like this whole area is super light right in here, so I'm going to, where's my, I've got like 12 brushes swimming around in here. Where is it? I know it's in there. There it is. Put back in just a little bit of the darker tones back in here. So get a little bit of the purple with my quinacridone and burnt orange, mostly burnt orange, a little bit of quinacridone, tiny bit of purple, and I'm just gonna tap in some shadow and back in here because I kind of tapped in a lot of highlight, but I lost some of my shadow when I did that. There we go. That'll give us a little bit more depth, and it actually kind of comes out this way. I don't know why I didn't do this side of it. Just now seeing, so it kind of comes out both sides right here. It sort of splits. Get a little bit of that yellow, my white. Alright, I'm getting fussy now, so I'm going to stop. Let me sign it. Super chat.
Super chat.
Nice.
So we had a bunch of people in today chatting
Nice.
up, and we got a super chat from Martha. And she says, beautiful painting, Angela. I have learned a few things today. Love you and Mark chatting together too.
Oh, thank you, Martha.
Thank you so much, Martha. Appreciate it.
Very sweet of you. I'm glad you learned something. It's always nice. I like to watch these videos too, and I always love to learn from other artists. I tend to feel like you can never know it all. There's so much to do, and every artist kind of approaches it differently, so I love that about art. We all have our own little things. All right, getting a little bit more of the Quinacridone Magenta. I just noticed there's kind of like a lack of it right here up front. And I'm just using my fan brush so I get these kind of streaks in it.
I think we need to get you an encyclopedia.
Give me an encyclopedia.
Yeah, so you can learn the definition of done.
Done? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, smart Alec. Oh, I found my cap. Yay. All right. It was hiding the whole time. I swear I looked there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching with us. We appreciate you. And we will be back
On
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yep. For more
Painting something
Awesome art adventures. What are we painting? We are painting, I don't know. Is it the peony? Is it the
black and white tree?
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about that one. That'll be fun. It'll be super easy too, so I think it'll be good.
Black and white tree.
Black and white tree. Yeah, landscape. All right. Hope you join us.
And traceables.
Traceables for this available on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. They're not up yet. Probably tomorrow sometime. I'll be tracing it out tonight, and it'll go up in the morning whenever Brennan has some time. All right. So, yeah. $1 a month for the traceables. $5 a month if you want our bonus videos and the reference photos. And $10 a month for the Facebook group, which we do every Thursday we do a chat, and we are working on, I'll show you the owl that we're working on if you're interested in that. That's the $10 group owl. We are almost finished. We've still got to work on we're going to glaze him a little bit, and then we're going to work on the leaves. So we're almost done.
Nice.
One more week.
Nice.
So that's the $10 group, and we do one of those kind of super detailed projects every month and take our time on it. So, all right, let's get out of here.
No, we had another super chat come in.
What?
From Clarine.
From who?
Clarine.
No
special message, but she did ask earlier. Now that you've done it, sorry, you didn't have to pay for it. Could you show your palette in the main camera, please? So it's not like fully zoomed in.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you have it down under. Let me turn off the lights here.
My
Sorry.
water and everything. Because it's a lot bigger than I can't use it all. It won't fit under the. Well, I could, but I want to show my water. So here it is, right there. It's that's 12, so it's 12 by 16, I would guess, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, 12 by 16. So I just used this half of it, and it's made out of glass, and the back is painted gray.
And there's
actually, so the back is paint, and then this side is glass.
Yeah, and there's a link to that
nice
in
bumpers.
in your Amazon store, link down below.
Yes. Would you put my palette cam back on so I can center it? There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, guys. That's it for real this time. Yeah. I gotta go wash these brushes out before they dry in this shape.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.